Last fight, when did you realize that was over?
With Conor?
Yeah.
When he fell down the second time, I was like, oh, this is not good. The first time I thought he just slipped. It's hard to tell. It's wild. It's in the moment. I thought he slipped. And then when he got up and he threw a kick again, I'm like, oh, I don't like how his leg just gave out. That didn't seem like... I'm still hoping he's just slipping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he's just freaking out because he hasn't been in the octagon in 5 years. And then he started moving around and he like grabbed his knee and buckled.
Okay.
And there was some conversation.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, there was some conversation going on between him and Max Holloway. And I was like, Max is saying he can't fight, like something's wrong. And he's saying, fight me. He's like, get up. And so he lets him up, and then his knee buckles, and then the referee stops the fight.
Machine Gun Kelly, he was out there talking a lot of shit as well.
I'm aware I did a post yesterday, and I should probably apologize for absolutely nothing, homie. This dude, that's how beef works.
And of course, it didn't go his way. He didn't get the win. He didn't get the biggest comeback in combat sports history. It was the biggest.
Conor McGregor waited 5 long years for this comeback. But just 69 seconds later, everything came crashing down. Was it simply terrible luck, or was something much bigger hiding behind the scenes? Now Joe Rogan has raised serious questions, while Daniel Cormier believes fans may never see McGregor inside the octagon again. As shocking details about the injury continue to emerge, one question refuses to go away. Is this the end of MMA's biggest superstar, or is there still one final chapter left to be written?
And for me as well, because that kick worked in the first fight, if you remember. He'd throw the jumping switch kick and then attack straight away with the hands, or the flying knee, just to like catch his attention and attack straight with the hands. But he threw it from far, and he was trying to reach Max. So when he even landed, he was in a really bad position, like really bad. And look, I know there's like all the internet warriors out there, but I don't know. I'm sure you can fake that, but I just don't think McGregor would, just to get out of a fight. I think he was already compromised. But if I was him in that situation, and I wasn't in that situation, it wouldn't be the first attack I throw off the bat. Because, he likes to do that. He comes to the front, the center straight away. He'll throw a spinning wheel kick. He'll do something. But that one, he threw it. If you look at it again, the replay, he threw it from way far out. And then even he missed Max. So when he missed him, the way he landed on his right leg.
Before the rumors exploded across social media, 2 former UFC champions looked at the footage from a completely different angle. Instead of asking whether Conor quit, they focused on how the injury actually happened. Their breakdown points to one tiny technical mistake during the very first exchange, something most fans completely missed in real time. And once they explain what happened with that opening kick and awkward landing, the entire fake injury theory suddenly starts falling apart. Here's exactly what they noticed.
But he's a man of honor and integrity when it comes to the confines of competition and even trying to book fights. I believe he wants to fight me. I believe he tried to fight me. I believe he wanted to fight me. I believe that's how the negotiations went. And other plans were made. But the honor and the integrity of wanting to stick to and be a man of his word since he pulled out of that fight back in 2024, International Fight Week against me, I think he wanted to actually be a man of his word and see through to putting his name on that dotted line that had my name on it. So when it comes to the confines of competition, the dude would not just show up to take a paycheck. Does he even need the money to show up and take a paycheck? Conor, after losing his last fight to Poirier, with a broken leg and all the speculation of, is this guy washed? Is he never coming back? The last thing he's going to do is show up with a compromised leg. Just like when he pulled out of the fight with me, it was a broken pinky toe.
But the strongest defense of Conor didn't come from one of his coaches. It came from a man who knows him better than almost anyone. Michael Chandler, the fighter who waited years for their canceled showdown, completely rejected the idea that McGregor faked anything. In fact, Chandler believes Conor had every reason to prove himself after 5 years away, making it almost impossible to believe he would walk away on purpose. His explanation adds a whole new perspective to the controversy before you hear his own words.
And we kind of turned a blind eye to some red flags, right? 5-year layoff, come after a horrible leg injury. Obviously, his personal life has been complete disarray, complete chaos. Had some legal issues, had some drinking issues, drug issues, assault, the list goes on and on. And in hindsight, playing Monday armchair quarterback like a lot of people online are doing. Like, how could you not see this coming? I told you.
After the shocking loss, many fans blamed pure bad luck. But Brendan Schaub believes the warning signs were there long before fight night. According to him, the injury wasn't the only concern. Conor's long layoff, past setbacks, and everything surrounding his career had already created serious doubts. Looking back now, Schaub believes those red flags were impossible to ignore.
I was so sharp and so ready for this fight. I cannot believe what has happened. The talk of me being off while walking into the fight is nonsense. I was calm, ready, and confident, and I am in shock at what has taken place. Now, yeah, people are talking about when he took his shoes off. But listen, we've all stumbled taking our shoes off on occasion, okay? And yeah, that does lean into the conspiracy, so all the tinfoil hats are going to come out and they're all going to talk like that. But earlier he tweeted as well, my head gasket is gone, destroyed. I had no injury or injuries going into the fight. I was throwing kicks, planting and jumping all throughout the camp. This came out of nowhere. I am beyond dog here. I can only describe it as hell. Well, he's not in hell, okay? He's sitting there as a father of four with a wife, with legions of fans all over the world. He got paid $30 million for the fight alone. The man's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So try and look at it through a bit of context and perspective, because to say you're in hell is kind of crazy, but I get it.
As conspiracy theories flooded social media, Conor McGregor finally broke his silence. He insisted he entered UFC 329 completely healthy and claimed the injury happened without any warning. But Michael Bisping believes some fans are reading far too much into every small detail. At the same time, he also reminds everyone to separate emotion from reality, offering a very different perspective on Conor's emotional reaction after the fight. Here's Bisping's full take.
He didn't get the win. He didn't get the biggest comeback in combat sports history. It was the biggest letdown. Now, what is going to happen next? Well, first of all, we know he's going to have surgery, okay? Is it a torn ACL? Is it a torn meniscus? If it's a meniscus, he might be back within 6 months. If it's an ACL, a year. It could be 18 months. You never know. Maybe that's the end of his career. But he's only got one fight left on his contract, okay? Now, one would assume, and I'm not speaking for the UFC, I'm a commentator, but I'm speaking on behalf of Michael Bisping here. One would assume the UFC are going to try and renegotiate and sign him to a longer contract before he has that next fight. And he has the right to say, I want to have my last fight and be a free man and go off and do my own thing and maybe start his own promotion, his own fight league, maybe box some people, maybe go and box Jake Paul, do some MMA on Netflix. We don't know, right? But if he does have one fight, who is that person going to be? And what will Conor McGregor look like then? Because he's already had 5 years off with a broken leg. Now he's torn the ACL again. He tore his ACL the first time against Max Holloway, broke his leg against Dustin Poirier, and then maybe tore an ACL on meniscus the second time he fought Max Holloway. And he's only going to get older, okay? And the old analogy of the sleeping in the silk sheets, right, doesn't make you hungry, and he's in hell and he's feeling sorry for himself. It's going to be interesting to see how he navigates.
Conor McGregor's injury didn't just end one fight. It may have completely changed the direction of his career. According to Michael Bisping, everything now depends on what doctors find after surgery. If the injury turns out to be less severe, Conor could make another comeback much sooner than expected. But if it's a torn ACL or another major ligament injury, the recovery could take well over a year, raising serious doubts about whether he'll ever return at the same level. Bisping also highlights another crucial detail that many fans have overlooked. McGregor has only one fight remaining on his UFC contract. That creates an even bigger mystery about his future. Will the UFC lock him into a new deal, or could his final chapter unfold outside the octagon altogether?
Then we know what happened. McGregor blew his knee out in the first few seconds, made an absolute shit ton, $30 million for almost no work. Didn't really take a punch. Max Holloway got paid for nothing as well. The fight didn't happen, and of course everyone's out there. They've all got opinions. Everyone's calling it a fake and saying that he was injured beforehand and this and that, and shut the hell up, okay? Anytime Conor McGregor fights, anytime there's a big, huge fight, you get tons of casuals tuning in. They don't know what they're talking about. Conor McGregor often starts his fights with something wild, and when you've been away from the sport for 5 years and you're walking into the octagon at the T-Mobile Arena and they've got the dry ice and the crowd is going crazy for you, yeah, you got a fair bit of adrenaline running through your body, and you're asking yourself a lot of questions like, have I still got it? Can I still do this, okay? Am I still the guy? Am I as good as what I used to be? Because you never know. Maybe throughout that training camp, maybe he knew He wasn't as good as what he used to be, and that's why he looked really nervous, because he did look nervous
after the fight.
But even if Conor eventually returns, another debate refuses to disappear. Many fans believe the fight was fixed, pointing to the massive payday and the fight ending almost instantly. Michael Bisping completely rejects that theory. Instead, he believes people are ignoring the enormous pressure McGregor was carrying after 5 years away from the octagon. Walking into a sold-out arena with millions watching can make even the greatest fighters question themselves. According to Bisping, Conor's body language wasn't proof of a fake injury. It may have been the weight of expectation, the adrenaline, and the fear of wondering whether he was still the same fighter the world once feared. Bisping believes the pressure may have affected Conor mentally, but Daniel Cormier takes that idea one step further. DC thinks the unbelievable atmosphere inside the arena may have influenced McGregor's very first decision of the fight. After 5 years away, with thousands of fans expecting something spectacular, Conor chose an explosive opening attack instead of a cautious start. According to Cormier, that single split-second decision may have changed everything, and Max Holloway was the first person to realize just how badly Conor was hurt.
Well, Conor McGregor, it will happen.
If Daniel Cormier is right, then the biggest challenge isn't the surgery, it's everything that comes after it. A full year of rehab, endless pain, and another attempt to reach the elite level of MMA. For most fighters, that's already difficult. But for someone like Conor McGregor, who has already achieved fame, fortune, and everything the sport can offer, DC wonders whether the motivation to make one more comeback is still there. His answer may surprise a lot of fans.
Just pointing out, you don't see that classic pivot shift like we have seen in other cases. Subsequent sequences, right? They kept saying he was slipping. He's not slipping. Every time he tried to put any semblance of weight on that right leg, we could see him go down. Again, we really didn't see any continued pivot shift. We didn't see any forward tibia translation on this one here either. This was towards the very end. He steps again to put a little bit of weight on that leg. We can see it's very unsteady, and then just all of his weight kind of collapses as he completely comes up off of that foot. Now, what's interesting is when you look at the very last sort of sequence of the fight before it was finally called off, again, we're looking at McGregor's right leg here, and if anything, you almost see like a forward translation of his femur. So, right, whenever the ACL tears, you're gonna see a forward translation of the tibia going forward. Here, as we kind of go frame to frame, you almost see like his femur looks like it shifts forward. You kind of see that? Now that could just be his weight shift. Maybe he's trying to activate the quad a little bit more and then has pain and it gives out. But it's almost like you see the femur shift forward relative to the tibia, which would not be suggestive or consistent of an ACL. Even on this next step right here, again, we don't really see that classic like tibia shifting forward sort of position. So actually seeing all this, my first thought would be
While fans and fighters debated Conor McGregor's future, one sports doctor focused on something far more important, the injury itself. By analyzing the fight frame by frame, he noticed details that were almost impossible to catch during the live broadcast. According to him, Conor wasn't simply slipping every time he lost balance. Instead, his right leg repeatedly collapsed whenever he tried to put weight on it, suggesting that something inside the knee had already failed. Even more interesting, the movement didn't perfectly match what doctors usually see with a classic ACL tear. Based on the replay, he believes the damage may actually point toward a meniscus injury instead, offering a completely different medical explanation for what happened inside the octagon.
Yeah, I mean, I had the man weak in the knees, I guess, so, all jokes aside, I just hope he's good, I know Conor been battling some stuff, looked like he really been changing, he found God, he had his kids in there, so, during the fight, you could obviously tell his demeanor changed, and I was, shout out to the ref. I was trying to tell the ref sooner, like this guy's kids is front row, I don't want to see him take unnecessary damage, trying to stop the fight, but this is how crazy Conor is. The first time he's on the ground, I was punching him, he's like, fight. I was like, okay, that's why I backed up. I said, stand up there, let's fight. And then he fell back down, and then the fight was called.
I mean, you've been in the UFC octagon more than anybody, right? But I just wonder, you knew you had a wounded guy, but it's almost hard for you to stay mentally focused. Like, hold on, remember what we're here to do. I got to go hurt this guy.
Not at all, we killers. But at the end of the day, I'm a human being, I think.
As questions about Conor's future continued to grow, the man standing across from him that night revealed what fans never saw on the broadcast. Max Holloway says he realized almost immediately that something was seriously wrong and even tried to get the referee's attention before the fight was stopped. Yet despite the obvious pain, Conor refused to quit and kept telling Max to continue. That moment gave fans a rare glimpse of the respect shared between two fierce rivals inside the octagon.
I love the game. What do you make of this one at the weekend against Max? You've obviously competed against him before.
I love the bout. A cracking contest, an iconic mixed martial arts contest with yours truly at the helm once again. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited for it.
And just to finish off the back of this, what happens afterwards? You've talked about a second date next year. Do you want it this year?
Yes. Yes, I do. I wish for it this year. Now I've said my piece, and they've said their piece, and let's just get through this one, and I'm fine with that. So I'm going to prove what's what, and then we'll go back and see what's what.
Have you got your eye on anybody that you want to fight?
Anyone, to be honest. Not particularly, no. Not particularly.
Would you class this at the weekend, if you're victorious, as the greatest comeback in UFC history?
Yes, by far. You know, Holloway's body of work inside the octagon is highly impressive, and he's fought so many men, and you know, to come back and do what I'm gonna do is going to be glorious. It's going to be absolutely sensational. I'm excited for it.
For people tuning in.
Hearing Max speak after the fight makes Conor's words before UFC 329 feel even more emotional. Before stepping into the octagon, McGregor wasn't talking about retirement or fear. He was talking about making history. He believed defeating Max Holloway after a 5-year absence would become the greatest comeback the UFC had ever seen. His confidence never wavered, and he was already thinking about future fights beyond Holloway. Looking back now, those bold predictions have taken on a completely different meaning. Instead of celebrating the biggest comeback of his career, Conor is once again facing the toughest challenge of all, finding a way back from another devastating injury.
5 years away doing everything, to come back and say like, yeah, no, I want to test myself, I want to even fight again, but I want to fight someone like Max. What do you think it says about him and his hunger still?
It says everything about him. I mean, when you think about it, throughout the history of fighting, tell me somebody who came back after this big of a layoff. I mean, Ali took 3 years and he wasn't the same when he came back. And I think that these are the kind of challenges that a guy like McGregor likes. If he wins on Saturday night, he will do something that nobody has ever done in any combat sport after such a layoff.
I look at that when I think
Conor wasn't the only one who believed history was within reach. Even Dana White admitted that beating Max Holloway after such a long layoff would have been something combat sports had never seen before. That makes UFC 329 even more heartbreaking, because a moment that was supposed to redefine McGregor's legacy ended before it truly began. Conor McGregor's return was supposed to be remembered as one of the greatest comeback stories in UFC history. Instead, it became one of the sport's biggest what-if moments. From Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier to Michael Bisping, Max Holloway, and even medical experts, everyone seems to agree on one thing. This injury has changed everything. But what nobody can agree on is what comes next. Will Conor once again endure months of painful rehabilitation and prove the doubters wrong? Or has UFC 329 quietly marked the end of one of the most iconic careers the sport has ever seen? Only time will answer those questions. One thing is certain, whether you love him or hate him, when Conor McGregor steps into the spotlight, the entire MMA world stops and watches. And that's exactly why his next move, if it ever happens, could become one of the biggest stories in UFC history. What do you think? Does Conor McGregor deserve one final comeback, or should he retire and protect his legacy? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.